Okay, good morning. It is Wednesday, August the 7th, and it is morning. Although I've been a little bit busy already this morning. It's amazing how sometimes things just become a priority in your life, and you have to do certain things first. And God allows that, It's like the Sabbath. Jesus said, He is the Lord of the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And there are things in life that we must do. And sometimes they have to come first, and we tend to them. And part of that is looking after our family and doing things for our home. And we've got to get that balance right, but at the same time, maintaining a presence with the Lord and keeping Him in your hearts. We're going into the beautiful King James Bible, the book of Judges, chapter 8. And if you remember that Gideon had just led 300 men up against the Midianites and the Amalekites, and, although they were vastly, exponentially outnumbered, they won the battle because the Lord God had deemed it so. So we're going into chapter 8 and see what happens following that. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus, that thou called us not? And when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites, and they did chide him sharply. And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? God hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb. What was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him when he had said that. And Gideon came to Jordan, and passed over, he and 300 men that were with him, faint, yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth, Give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the princes of Succoth said, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army? And Gideon said, Therefore, when the Lord hath delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. And he went up thence to Penuel, and spake with them likewise. There we go. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spake also unto the men of Penuel, saying, When I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of the host of the children of the east. For there fell 120,000 men that drew sword. And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in tents on the east of Nobah and Jochbehah, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host. And Gideon the son of Joash returned from battle before the sun was up, and caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him, and he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 70 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom you did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? And he took of the elders of the city, and the thorns of the wilderness and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art, so they were. Each one resembled the children of a king. And he said, they were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As the Lord liveth, if you had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jether his firstborn, Up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou and fall upon us. For as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you. Wise words. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that you would give me every man the earrings of his prey. For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. And they answered, We will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about their camels' necks. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing did become a snare unto Gideon and to his house. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more, and the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal the son of Joash went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name he called Abimelech. And Gideon the son of Joash died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash his father, in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again, and went a whoring after Baalim, and made Baal-berith their god. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Neither showed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel. Sometimes you just want to cry when you read that, don't you? How the children fell away and no longer worshiped God, but sought after other gods. And these were good, godly men. Well, I guess the clue is in the scripture there, isn't it? That he had many wives. And we know from the beginning that God said one man, one woman. So even in his good works, he was disobedient to the Torah, to the scriptures, to God. And it's I don't know, it's kind of, if they were practicing and reading the scriptures and worshiping at the tabernacle and, following God and making sacrifices, but then as people knew the scripture, they could say, well, you're not following scripture. You've got many wives and you've gathered together all this gold and earrings and stuff. You've laid up your treasures here on earth. And people went a whoring after it, which became a snare unto Gideon and to his house. It's a shame. It is an absolute crying shame. If we want our children to follow in the ways of the Lord, then we have to be the best example possible for them. We are the first people that they look at as they're growing up. Kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it? And I'm praying that it's never too late. Although patterns are formed and ideas and stuff are formed, that maybe yet we can still set an example for our children and walk with God in as many ways as possible, in all ways as possible. Because this is a story that's going to be repeating itself throughout the Old Testament. That the judge or the king is going to walk with God and the children fall away. One of the greatest is when the reign of Manasseh occurred, and 50 years, and he was an evil king. Hezekiah was his father, and Hezekiah pleaded for his life to be extended, and it was. But during that extension of his life, he fathered Manasseh, and Manasseh was the cruelest king that they'd had, and he reigned for 50 years. So you can see that sometimes leaning on our own understanding and asking for God for things that are not within God's will. Now God, you might say to yourself, well, why did God allow that to happen? Because it's recorded in the Bible. And he has used these things, as he did with all of these people. He wanted this recorded so that we would know that should we want to follow our own path instead of his, that it will lead to destruction. It will lead to pain and sorrow and grief. These are not examples for us to follow in a positive way. Some of these are negative examples that God has given us. We have to know that there's that balance in the world. That he is a just God, a loving God, but a just God, a merciful God, but a just God. And we will get our just rewards for whatever action we take, be they good or evil. He will mete out that justice. I pray that the storm hasn't affected anyone very badly, that we've got tiny little branches and leaves blown all over the place. They can be picked up. I don't even think the basement flooded. I haven't heard the, hello bear, I haven't heard the alarms going off from the fire station, which is only a few doors down the road. Here's Bear. Hello, Bear. So I pray that everyone is safe and that your cleanup is reasonable. And, we do have until the weekend. Saturday's the first break in the weather. So, we've got another couple of days after today, Thursday and Friday. So please be careful out there. Please don't take risks. And if there's any cleanup that needs doing, if it's beyond you, ask for help, okay? If there's large limbs down or if there's stuff that's just too hard to move and clean up, don't take chances. Don't take chances, okay? Ask for help. It's what neighbors are for. It's what friends are for. They're just waiting for you to ask, okay? So go ahead and ask. And may God be with you all. He loves you immensely. And I love you too. And I love little Bear. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.